Pamela.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Ebong. Today we're dishing with you from Founding Farmers, which is located at 1924 Pennsylvania Avenue in Northwest DC.
And today we are so honored to have the Micheal Wilbon as our guest. He is a Washington Post sports columnist as well as a co-host for ESPN's Pardon the Interruption. Welcome.
Wow.
Touching the gold right
Good to be here. I don't know about gold now.
Well, you're constantly interviewing people.
I'm usually on the other side of this process.
How does it feel?
Weird. I'm teasing.
We're going to make you feel very, very comfortable.
Okay, good.
So I wanted to ask you, since your entire life now, your professional life is revolved around sports and DC sports, and not just DC sports, but sports all over the country, do you ever get sick and tired of talking about sports?
What a good question.
No, I don't get sick and tired of talking about sports. No, it's the conversation of my life, Pamela. People often ask that, and no, it's the soundtrack that will go behind a movie if I was worthy of one, which I'm not. But no, because the conversation has more to do with just who's winning and losing games. The conversation's about religion and politics and social justice and interaction and every single thing that sort of brings itself into our lives in general, brings itself into our lives with sports as a backdrop. So it's not just about games, it's about people.
Right.
It is. And so there's great stories of human interest, and those stories interest me more than the results some nights.
Yeah.
Where did this love of sports come from? As a little kid, did you play sports all the time? Did your dad drag you to games, or you just decided one day, I want to write about sports?
No, yes, and no. Anybody who does this, Kate, you have a love for it and an obsession with it that predates your memory. No one who does this for a living can say, oh, I remember when I fell in love with sports. You can't. My mother tells me that I used to ask her to throw balls to me to hit in the backyard when I was 3.5 years old. So, and I'm not unique. Anybody who does that, whether you're playing it, and I guess there's some late bloomers to playing, but not in the obsession with sports. That starts at an age which none of us can remember.
So do you think that in order to do your job well, you need to have an obsession?
Yes. It's almost like a calling. You have to love it. Because you're going to miss...
your blood.
Yes. You're going to miss all the holidays. All right? I work every Christmas day. Mm-hmm. Every Christmas day. I get sort of 2 holidays off, like Labor Day and 4th of July. That's it. I'm never there for Mother's Day. I missed my son's birthday so far. He's 1. I missed the first one.
Yeah, congratulations for
Thank you.
your baby.
So you have to love it to a degree that it doesn't seem like work. That it's your vocation and your avocation. And it does seem like, I think for the great majority of us, a calling. And it's not just the sports, but it's the storytelling. I mean, I love sports, but I love storytelling more than sports. And so I've married the 2 interests. But yeah, you can't decide, I kind of like this. It's got to be something that's on your plate all the time. If I wasn't getting paid to do it, I'd do it anyway. Although I don't want to give away leverage by saying that.
We won't tell anyone.
And you're originally from Chicago. You're a Chicago native.
I am.
Does your obsession derive with the sports there as well? The Blackhawk flying, White Sox,
Cubs.
He's a Cubs. Even though he's from the South Side, he's the North Side.
That's why I asked that
Everyone
question.
knows that. I think it starts with any of us where you live. Because that's all you know when you're little. I mean, you don't really know rivals. You don't know much about leagues. You just know that your heroes, and you might see some of them in your neighborhood. At least you did. I'm old enough to remember when ball players weren't all wealthy. They lived in the same neighborhoods the rest of us did. Big league ball players and were Chicago White Sox and Cubs came to my Little League parade. So you fell in love with the people who played the sports where you lived. And that grows as you get older, and you like people for different reasons. The way somebody wears their socks or their wristbands or whatever it was at the time, the number of the jersey, the way they run, the way they stand at the plate. But originally it starts off with your teams. And so my teams are still my teams.
Yeah.
And people ask me all the time, well, do you root for the Redskins? No, I don't root for the Redskins. I cover the Redskins. I don't root for them.
Okay.
And I say to people in turn, if you've lived in Washington 30 years, sure. I said, if you moved to Chicago tomorrow, would you become a Bears fan and drop the Redskins? And they look at you with this blank look, and it's the same thing. Why would I drop my teams for teams here? But it's greater than that when you do what I do. You like a lot of people on a lot of teams. You come to admire people that you know for various reasons. But my teams Sorry, Kate.
It's okay.
Are still my team.
Okay.
But do you consider yourself a Washingtonian since you've been here for, what, 30 years now?
Pamela, that's a great question. You know what? I think I've been influenced now by Washington nearly as much as I've been influenced by Chicago. I don't like some of the influences I've been under as an adult, but I consider myself a Chicagoan. I think what happens here, a lot of us who live here, and you guys all know people who just, you're here and you work here,
right,
and you live here, but your heart is somewhere else because you're transplanted and you hook up with other transplants, people from where you are. And I've lived here voluntarily all my life, so it's not like I've had chances to leave. I never left, so clearly I really love being in Washington, greater Washington. I lived in the district, I lived in Northern Virginia, I lived in Maryland, each for about 10 years.
Right.
So I've lived all over the place, but I
you're only 40.
I just gave up that lie now. But I don't know that I'm a Washingtonian. I don't know the people. You know me a long time. Am I a Washingtonian?
No. I don't think so.
Okay, so that's a more honest answer for somebody who's known me a long time.
But okay, so let's talk about people. You have a really cool relationship with a really famous basketball player, Mr. Charles Barkley, and you wrote the foreword to what, one or two of his books?
Well, I've written the foreword to and edited 2 of his books.
Okay, but how did that relationship start?
Standing in front of his locker when he's wearing only a towel for years and years and years. You know, if
Pretty
you,
close.
I know, if you cover basketball as long as I have, you get to know a lot of players. And it wasn't just that Charles wasn't famous when I got to know him. He was starting to become famous. But I started getting to know Charles when he was in college at Auburn University. And we just sort of hit it off. We just sort of had things in common and saw the world the same way. And he trusted me and the work that I'd done over the years enough to edit things that are very close to him. His books were his takes on the world, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I got a lot out of it. And then certainly the relationship has grown even more since working on those 2 projects. But he's one of my favorite people in or out of sports, not just sports. So we have a great time whether we're working or not.
Is there anything more that you have? Do you have anything else coming out? Other collaborations with other athletes?
No, actually, no, not that I know of now. And some opportunities have come up, but I got too much work as it is. I want to actually see this son grow up and participate in that part of his life. And so fewer projects. But there are a lot of projects, not necessarily with athlete partnerships, which used to be sort of a taboo in the sports journalism world. The whole world is in flux, but I can see doing that with people that I really respect and like and have covered for years, and they know me and I know them and they know my work. But right now, no, I got enough work.
Well, we appreciate your thoughts on that. And more than that, we appreciate you taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to be with us.
Thank you very much, Kate. I appreciate that.
So much.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for your passion for sports. And whether you're Washingtonian or not, your passion for the
Pamela's
district.
already said I'm not. I have passion for the district, whether or not I'm a Washingtonian. Passion either way.
We still love you. We love you.
And we love all of you who watch us every time on the new episodes of The District Dish. Thanks so much for watching.